Hello fellow agents and welcome to another Division 2 video. I'm Balrog and today I'm going to show you in my opinion the best AR in the game for PVE and PvP as well. And it's called the FAL. So I'm going to showcase it using a different DPS build this time. One with full critical hit damage. And let me tell you, it is a beast. So it has high damage. Although it has lower magazine, but in the long run it can compete with the the PVE DPS meta build with contractor gloves and fox sprayer knee pads. So before we dive into the action, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done it already. It will really help my channel grow and help me continue bringing more videos like this one to you. So as always, I appreciate you being here. So let's get to it. So I guess the first question that comes into mind is, how can I get the FAL? So the way that I got it, it was jumping into Legendary Summit, not Heroic, Legendary, because the drops in Legendary Summit are, they can be good. So I jump with a couple of friends so you can match make, and remember to change the targeted loot to assault rifles. So that's how I got it when I decided to farm it. It took me like I played for a few hours and got like 4 falls. Got 3 decent ones, and I got this one, a good god roll one. That's the one that I currently have. So to be honest, this weapon and the Carbine 7 are on my favorite assault rifles in the game, and to some this is the best AR by far. But I suggest to get both and play with them to see which one you like the best. So the FAL packs more damage than the Carbine 7, M4s or FAMAS or the G36, but it has lower RPM. Like you see it has 650 RPM and the magazine up to 40 bullets, but by default is 20 bullets. So I recommend having the extended magazine weapon mod to increase the magazine from the 20 to have 40, because with 20 bullets it's a no-no. So you need to have that mod to increase it to 40. And since having less bullets than the other ARs, your aim has to be on point in order to be effective with this weapon. Even with that reduced magazine size and the low RPM, I suggest adding this AR to your arsenal and have it optimized fast. So if you don't have it got rolled, and have it optimized so you be able to run any kind of content with it. Your solo heroic missions, control points, territory control, legendary missions, and legendary summit, and even raid. I mean, I've played with this with the FAL and this build on raid, and it's a good strong DPS build. A good side note to remember when trying to get one, or if you have another AR, it doesn't matter. It's this advice is good for any weapon. Is having the third damage, the third attribute, like you see there, to have damage to target out of cover or damage to armor, one of both. This is a must if you want to do high damage, because when the game calculates the total DPS output, these two stats are not additive in the calculations, they are multiplicative. So the bigger the percentage you have, the bigger the resulting DPS number. So now let's talk about the build I'm using with this FAL. If you don't have this AR, don't worry. This build will work with any other assault rifle in the game. If you have a Carbine 7 or M4 or a FAMAS or a G36, don't worry, it will work. You have to focus on your critical hit chance and your critical hit damage. As always in this game, you have to be on the cap for the critical hit chance of 60%, and with the maxed out build you will get up to 200 critical hit damage. I'm not there yet because one of the pieces doesn't have critical hit damage. So if you have all the pieces maxed with the attributes that critical hit chance and critical hit damage on all the gear, you will get to 200. So I chose the gunner specialization to have better survivability while playing solo. So with the 10% armor and kill and the ammo regeneration that it has. But if you like another specialization like the firewall, for example, to get the mod for critical hit damage, or if you like using the shield of the firewall specialization, I mean, go for it. It depends on your playstyle and preference, to be honest. The primary weapon that I got is the FAL, with ideally all the mods critical hit damage. So I had to use the critical hit chance on the side because one of the gear pieces is missing a critical hit damage stat, so I had to use that. For the magazine, I used extended magazine. That's a must, like I said before, to get the 20 more rounds. For the I got a short grip for critical hit damage, and the flash hider with critical hit damage. If you don't get to the cap of 60% critical hit chance, you can play with this mod and add critical hit chance in the weapon to get to that cap. So don't worry about that. The talent that I use for the weapon is strain. I mean, it's really up for debate, but I really like that talent. It will give me 10% critical hit damage for every half a second that I'm firing. So stacks up to 5 times, so it gives me a lot of critical hit damage when it gets to the final rounds of the magazine. So that talent really depends on player preference. If you like In Sync or Killer or some other talent, I mean, you're welcome to use it. I mean, I always say that no, you have to use this build because it will be the best DPS. That's a lie. It all depends on how you play. I mean, you're not gonna be playing like you're playing a gun range, like out in the open and hitting all the bullets to the head or all the bullets to the chest on an enemy. I mean, if you can try to do more damage and get less damage, I mean, that's good, and all depends on your play style. That's it. Because I've seen players that had the meta builds and do less damage that guys that had a low end build or a they're trying to build the meta build, but they're not there yet, and they do more damage. So as a secondary weapon, I have the Carbine 7 here, but you can have it for testing. But I use Baker's Dozen. You can use or any M1A because I like to have the AR for mid-range and some long-range weapon. You can use anything else like a Scorpio or like a Sweet Dreams. It really depends what type of player are you. So the same goes for the pistol. You can choose whatever pistol you wanna use. So to achieve high critical hit damage numbers, like the 200 that I showed you before, you need to build with 3 Providence to get that 10% critical hit chance on the 2-piece and 15% critical hit damage with the 3-piece. I have here 1-piece Grupo to get critical hit 15% critical hit damage, and 1 and 2 Sokolov to get the 2-piece to get 15% critical hit damage. So for the gear, the ideal attributes that you want to get or recalibrate or farm is having critical hit damage and critical hit chance, like you see in this mask here. That I have critical hit damage and critical hit chance as some two attributes. And the gear mod that you want to use on the mask, on the backpack, and on the chest is critical hit damage as well. Again, if you don't have the 60% cap, I mean, you can go up for critical hit damage on the gear mods, but I prefer hitting that cap first and then concentrated on the critical hit damage. So the backpack talent that I'm using is Vigilance. That will increase my total weapon damage by 25%. So taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. So I try to not get hit. Try to have this buff up most of the time. And the talent for the chest that I have here is the perfect glass cannon, because I'm using the sacrifice. That's the Providence gear that amplifies all my damage by 30%. This is a beast, but you get a lot of damage with that. So you got to be careful while playing, especially on legendary missions and legendary summit. But other piece that I recommend using here, another piece of talent, is Obliterate, like this piece that I have, another Providence. So your critical hits increase your total weapon damage 1% for 5 seconds, so it stacks up to 25 times, so you can have 25% weapon damage. That's a good one also. And again, this is like the meta talent, but if you like another to play with another talent on your chest, I mean, you're more welcome to do so. And finally, two skills that I use always: Reviver Hive. If you're using Glass Cannon, you need to have another chance if you get, a sniper gets you, or a big fella, a boomer, or whatever, a big guy. So you get killed, you get another chance. And the second skill is up for grabs. And I use, depends on the situation. I use turret. You can use a drone. You can use the decoy, the whatever you want to use. That's up to you and your playstyle. Like sometimes I use the turret because it helps you with the DPS, and kind of like having the enemies focusing on the turret instead of you. And since you have a glass cannon, if you use it, I mean, it's better to have it focusing on somebody else, not you. But again, you can use whatever skill you feel comfortable with. So there you have it, guys, another type of full red DPS build. Focus on critical hit damage with one of the best, or the best, assault rifles in the game. That's the FAL. So let me know in the comments if you use this kind of build, or you like the FAL, I've used it before, or you're using the FAL with another DPS build. Just comment down below. Remember to hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to support the channel and allow me to keep creating more content for you. I really appreciate all your support. As always, take care, be safe, and see you on the next one. Ciao.